share from the semiconductors?
All right, we might get underway. Thank you for coming along, and full house, so fantastic. And we've got a few visitors, thanks to Reg and a few people who brought some visitors along, so welcome. Tonight's about the IC-705, and I've titled the presentation, Is it an FT-817 killer? And the last couple of slides address that. I don't actually make a decision about that. I'll let you make that decision once you've got all the information. But the format of tonight is there's a few slides just so that I can highlight a few of the things about this radio. And then what I'm going to do is actually put the radio, which is here, on the Elmo, and we'll have it on the big screen here because I want to actually show you some of those functions that I highlight in the presentation. For those people who have a 7300 or a 9700, lots of these functions are going to be hopefully familiar to you. But I think it's worth going through a few of them because it's pretty interesting and a pretty special radio. So just so people know, the 705 is the 7300 with VHF and UHF. That's the range it covers. It has a general coverage receiver from 30 kilohertz all the way up to about 200 megs, and then covers 70 centimeters as well, and then covers all of the HF, VHF, UHF bands. I make a comment here, it doesn't actually cover 2200 meters or 630 meters transmit, which is a bit disappointing for myself, but that might just be me.
Yes.
It comes with an internal battery, and the novel thing about the internal battery is it's actually a handheld battery. So it's a lithium-ion handheld battery. You can get the this is the normal duty one. You can get a heavier duty one which has more cells in it, and that clips in as well. So and when you're you can run it from the internal battery. You get 5 watts of output with the internal battery, and you get 10 watts with an external battery. And if you've got an external battery, it starts external battery or power supply. It starts charging the internal battery, and there's a little charge light that comes up on there. It has the large, and this is the same as the 7300 and the 9700, the large 4.3-inch TFT screen that has all the same functionality that I'll go through some of it. There has been quite a bit of talk just of late on the IC-705 lists around the robustness of the screen, given it's a portable rig. So that'll be interesting to see, and also operating it in really cold environments, which is the top of mountains. We're interested to see how it performs as well. This radio, like the 9700 at least, I'm not sure about the 7300, has Bluetooth and wireless LAN, wireless local area network built into it. Oh, and in fact, that just reminds me, I haven't put it on the wireless LAN here, but there's no need. And the Bluetooth enables you to do some nice stuff like the ICOM Bluetooth headset, which clips on your collar and gives you obviously your headphones, but also the microphone, which is inside here. A really nice little feature in here is there is a voice recorder built into this, so you can do your CQs and whatever you need to do actually within the headset, but you can also do it in the radio as well. So so you're welcome to have a bit of a play with that afterwards. It covers all the normal modes, as well as it's a DStar radio as well, so it does cover the DStar digital voice modes and a couple of different types of DStar modes. it has a GPS built in, like the 9700. It has an antenna built in as well, so that it will find the satellites. It'll give you that location data if you want to see it on the screen. It can do tracking to, it has a MicroSD card in it that you can put into there for logging. It can then transmit that location data to your SD card so you can actually see where you've been, if you really want to. Now, my disappointment, and I'll name it up now, my disappointment is it has a GPS in it. It's one chip away from having it locked via GPS, but they didn't do it. Same as the 9700.
Next time.
Next time. Next time. And I'll show you some
705 Mark II.
frequency stability tests that we did with Rex last night. So that's so close, but yet so far. The DStar, it has, and please don't ask me what this is, because I opened up the advanced manual, and the advanced manual section for DStar is 50 pages long. The advanced manual is about twice the size of the user manual, which you get with the radio. And so I'm taking this from the sales blurb. It has DR function and also a terminal function. So the terminal function, my understanding of that is you can actually communicate keyboard to keyboard, if you like, in a keyboard to keyboard mode using DStar. So, and you can transmit pictures, you can store the pictures on the SD card, you can transmit that via DStar DV, you can transfer the pictures, you can receive pictures, you can do all sorts of nice stuff. So it's the internet enabled side of DStar, I suppose you'd say. There is a speaker mic included with it, which is the one that's on here. It does have the ability to receive AM, FM wide and also airband. You can put it into those particular bands. You can see the size of it, and it weighs, I think Rex said 1.1 kilograms without the battery pack in the back. So it's about the same as an 817. So configuration out of the box. Now what I'll do a bit of a plug here for Hayden's video. Hayden did an unboxing video today.
Yep.
Today.
At lunchtime.
So I'd have a look at that particular video on Ham Radio DX. These are just the things I jotted down. I took it out of the box, and these are the things that I actually had to configure to get it to actually get to a point where I was comfortable with actually operating. The connector, it does come with a power connector with 2 fuses, which is fantastic, but there's no Anderson connector on the end of it, so Anderson connector on there. You do need to set the time offset on there, because it comes as the default for Japan. There is a little strain relief. There's a tricky little thing on here, which is the earth connection on the side of the radio. It comes with a little bracket that actually connects to the earth socket, and on your microphone there is actually a little strain relief spring that you connect to the strain relief. So you're not, if your microphone drops out of the bag or whatever, you're not ripping the connections out. So that's quite a nice little feature. The wireless LAN setup, and there is a really nice thing of your network time protocol. If you're connected to a wireless LAN, it automatically sets your time, where you are in the world. That's really nice. Doesn't come with an SD card. You've got to obviously get one of those and format it. There's some little rubber feet that you go on the bottom. The battery is totally discharged, so you do actually have to charge the battery. I assume that's shipping requirement. And all the display is Imperial. All the actual display units are all Imperial, and there's about 6 that you've got to set, so you need to change them to metric. And it obviously doesn't come with any of the repeaters, offsets, or CTCSS tones. There's a really nice feature where you can put those on as a CSV file on your SD card, and upload them to program the radio. So that's actually really nice if you don't have the programming software. There is programming software available for it, and it's free. All you need is a micro USB to normal USB connectors that are connected to your computer.
Justin, can you create the CSV file from a working machine?
Yeah, you can clone. There's a clone function as well.
Yeah, okay.
So, and this is just a bugbear for me. The Waterfall, the default for the Waterfall, I think is too fast. So you've got to slow it down. But anyway, that's out of the box. A few nice features. For those who aren't used to this particular radio, everything's usually got more than one, and in some cases more than 2 or 3 functions. So if you actually push and I'll demonstrate this afterwards, if you actually push the button, you can push the button for a little longer than a second and it does something different. It actually brings up another menu. And you can see here, it also depends, in the multi-function menu items, depends on which mode you're in as to what it then gives you, and I'll demonstrate this. It gives you the adjustments that you would need to make for that particular mode. Now there's a really nice feature which is 7300 and 9700. They call it the digital twin bandpass tuning. Now if you've ever operated an 847, there is the DSP on an 847 as well as the IF shift on an 847. This is very similar, but this gives you the ability to do it in 3 widths. So there's an F1, F2 and F3 width. And there are certainly YouTube videos around and demonstrations around really noisy environments and being able to basically shift things so that you're only listening to the particular part of the bandpass that you want to listen to, and you get rid of everything else. So it's a really nice feature. You do this along with the noise blanker and the noise reduction settings, and I'll demonstrate this with the multi-function. As soon as you enable those, if you push them for longer than a second, you start to get other functions that you can then access. Spectrum scope. Okay, and I'll demonstrate this. The spectrum scope, there are a whole lot of things that you can do with the spectrum scope, which is change how much of the band you actually want to look at, what happens on the edges of the bands, whether you want to hold particular parts of the spectrum scope. You can expand or set or center the spectrum scope on the frequency you're on or on another frequency, etc. So I'll actually demonstrate that. That's all the things you can do with the spectrum scope is in that list there. A really nice little feature is if you're in RTTY, it comes up with a decode screen. So you can actually see what's being decoded without having to have a computer or whatever. It's actually coming up on the screen. Then you can screen grab that, which saves it to the SD card. It also saves to the SD card things like if it decodes your call sign, well, it knows your call sign, it's in the radio, but if it decodes the other person's radio call sign, that can be stored to the SD card, so you've got that for a log later. So that's really nice. There's an audio scope function, so you can put it in, and I'll show this, you can put it in so that you get a waterfall of the audio, but you also get an oscillograph of the audio as well. So you can see if it's clipping and doing all sorts of things. So that's really nice. And I did pick out, there is an auto-tune function, but it is only available in CW, where if you set it, you can actually tune to get somewhere close to a CW signal, put it in auto-tune and it finds it and stays on it. So if they start drifting all over the place, your radio just follows them. So that's a really nice function. I wish it was actually in probably a few more modes other than CW. That would be nice.
That's versions 2 and 3.
Well, can I just say there is already a firmware update available for the radio, 1.11, which updates what the battery, the little battery indicator does. So it's already out there, and there are YouTube videos on updating the firmware using that programming software I referred to earlier. Just a bit of an idea of what the SD card you can do with the SD card, and this is a list of the bits and pieces. I've just pointed out a few, which is actually recording a QSO. You can put it in record mode. It's very quick to put it in record mode, so you can actually record the QSO that you're making, both sides of the contact. There's a whole lot of digital voice mode capturing that happens. You can load the repeater frequencies, that's what I mentioned earlier, and also do screen grabs of if you're seeing something interesting on the waterfall or whatever on the screen, you can do a screen grab which saves it to the SD card. And there is a iPhone and also an Android app, which I had. I'll show this a little bit later. You can upload and download pictures to the rig via Wireless LAN. That's quite nice. That's more for the DV modes. GPS operation, this is the sort of data that it can give you from the GPS. It can give you everything, so longitude, latitude, altitude, speed, time, etc. And that can also then be logged as you move around with the radio, which is quite nice when you're doing probably when you're doing a SOTA activation, because you can then translate that into here's how I actually access the peak if it's one that hasn't been accessed before, because people are really interested in that sort of stuff. And the network time protocol from the LAN, that's really nice. As soon as it gets wireless LAN, it will update the clock. The SWR graph function is available in the 7300 and the 9700, and I'll actually demonstrate this. You can do an SWR plot of your antenna that's connected to it. It's part of the radio, and so you can see where your antenna is more resonant or less resonant, etc. So I'll demo that. Whole lot of meter functions, as well as temperature and current that's being drawn and all sorts of things. That's all available in the meter functions. There is a speech button, and Brian's here. Click the button and it tells you the frequency and mode. F9, 7, 2, 7, 2, 5, 7 megahertz.
Same little girl, yeah.
Yes. So
good to see she's still employed.
Yeah, and that comes as a standard feature. Usually, it's an option that you add on later. I know with the 847, it's an option that you buy later. So that's really good. Bluetooth pairing. It can be to the ICOM headset. It can be to your own. I think Hayden's.
AirPods.
AirPod. So he's paired it to another device, and there are other things that the Bluetooth's used for. Wireless LAN connection, really nice. So PC control. I bought the remote software, and I've set it up in the shack so that it sits on the wireless LAN. My PC's on fixed Ethernet, and I can then control the radio from anywhere in the house. So that's really nice, and remotely, which is what Hayden does. Record the QSO. I mentioned that earlier, and the very last dot point here is usually the thing comes with a reset functions where you either reset the whole thing and you lose all the settings, but there are a whole lot of partial reset functions. So you can just reset the repeater function, or you can just reset your frequency bank or your memory bank, or there's a whole lot of partial reset functions which just make it much nicer than just doing a full reset on the radio and then having to go through and reload everything. So that's actually really nice. The programming software is free, and though I mentioned there is already a firmware update. And the DStar setup, I have to say, is a work in progress. I haven't set that radio up for DStar because I looked at the advanced manual and it scared the hell out of me. So I might employ Clayton VK7ZCR to help me out with that one. The accessories, okay. The backpack. The backpack is an accessory you need to pay for. You can put the radio in the top of here. It has a very nice little feature where you actually screw the radio in. There's a little 1/4-inch screw, which is it's a standard 1/4-inch, which is why you can stick it on a tripod. That goes in the top. There's little holes for your cabling and your coax. The side of it's reinforced so that you can put a decent mast actually on the backpack and not have the backpack fold up on you. And the middle bit is it's got 2 segments that you can plonk everything else in there. Oh, that's the remote software. So it's not bad, and it's very nicely made. It's certainly not a cheap backpack by any stretch of the imagination. The Bluetooth headset, I'll hand that round. It's the VS3, the remote software. Now the picture utility software, which I'll show in a sec, which I've downloaded on the iOS platform. It's available for all 3. There are Android remote control software that's actually just been updated as well, which is free. It's available on the Android platform. Does a similar sort of function to the RSB01, but it's cut down. So that's available. There's lots of questions about whether it's available on iOS yet. So it'd be really nice to be able to control your radio from your phone, your iPhone. And there's different cables and bits and pieces, and data cables, which come with the remote software as well as individually. Now, $64,000 question. Is it stable or not? This is a test that Rex and I did last night. Now this is I'm just transmitting a carrier on 2 meters. And the initial test, which is, you can see I had the watchdog timer on here. We had a bit of a funny thing. We had a Reast meeting going on last night, and I kept saying to the people in the Zoom session, something's beeping in the shack. And it was actually the 705 telling me that it was about to turn off because of the watchdog timer, which I'd never heard before. But once I turned the watchdog timer off, and we did, this is on low power, this is about 30 Hertz that you're looking at here. But the interesting thing is, about here, Rex said, oh, can you turn the power up? So I turned the power up to 5 watts, around about here. And you can see it was a fairly rapid change, but then it started to stabilise. The radio was also getting quite hot at that stage, and it got to, the little temperature gauge got to the red segment, and I went, I'm going to turn it down now. So that was somewhere up here. But it's just interesting that at the low power setting, there's quite a bit of drift, but at the high power setting, that what we're talking about there is probably 5 Hertz of drift in the high power setting, whereas at the low power setting there's up to 30 Hertz of
Justin,
drift.
you think that might have just been a function of temperature rather than high and low power?
Well, quite possibly. It's just more stable temperature, because the rig got quite hot.
If you run it for long enough at low power to get up to that temperature, maybe.
Quite possibly. Now these are 10-minute segments.
Oh, so that's a fair while.
That's a fair while.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
you had been running it for a fair while before this.
it was on, well and truly. So yeah. Our initial looks like the same sort of stability problem that the 7300 and the 9700 have, but we need to do some more tests to really work out what this sort of scenario is. and that's running it. That is running it continuously. So that's just a continuous CW carrier and Rex monitoring it. And that's, bear in mind, that's at 144 at 70 centimeters. It's 3 times that. So our 30 hertz becomes 90 hertz. So yeah, but anyway, I had this little hope that they'd put that extra PLL chip in there and connected it to the GPS and locked the oscillator, but no. Anyway, okay, brass tacks. 705 is normally 2365. It's the same as the 9700. They have an intro offer on right at the moment, which is 1849. To give you a comparison, the FT-818, the best price I could see for new was $950 or $999, and that's the 2 organisations that sell them currently new in Australia. And second hand, it's between $500 and $800 So, and you can probably ask the $800 end if you have a GPS locked one that has the GPS locking board in it, because those boards aren't available anymore. So, yeah, so that gives you a bit of an idea. So, is it an FT-817 818 killer? What does the 705 actually have? It's got all of this stuff. It's got some nice features. It's got some very nice features. It is 10 watts. Which from a soda point of view, that little bit extra power really makes a difference. You know, that's the difference between you making your absolute minimum 4 contacts in, you know, an hour. You'll probably get the 4 contacts plus a lot more in, you know, half an hour. So that does actually make a bit of difference. The GPS, yeah, okay, it's nice. It does give you the DStar version of APRS, so the Automatic Position Reporting System. This is the DStar version of it. So you can transmit that over DStar so that you can actually do the tracking of where you're going. The 705 only has 1 antenna port, whereas the 817 actually has a front and a back port which you can assign to bands, which is actually really nice. I have used that feature. So okay. I make the comment here, horses for courses. The 705's 2 to 2.5 times the price of an 817, an 818. The 817 and 818s were, I suppose I should say, they were GPS lockable. There were third-party boards that you could slot in. That one's got one from VK3HZ in there, so that was really nice. Frequency stability, you saw the chart. You'll need to lock it for a weak signal mode use and you know, up at a gigahertz sort of transverter local oscillator rig use. So I think there's still a market for the 817 and 818s. If you want the bells and whistles and you're prepared to pay 2 to 2.5 times the price, yeah, maybe. And if they come out with a locking option for the 705, fantastic. I think it then would you start to see it as a local oscillator rig for the microwave enthusiasts as well. So I'll let you make up your mind. If you're prepared to pay 2.5 times the price, okay. So questions before we go to the demo. And while you're doing that, any questions?
There is a question online.
Yep.
VK3YE. Wondering how rugged is the BNC? Can it support a beefy pedestrian mobile whip antenna?
Excellent question, and I can't answer that. But excellent question, Peter. It does show in some of the advertising
On the side of the box, I think it shows.
Yeah, that there we go. So that's actually using the backpack rig, the mast on the side of the backpack that shows probably about I don't know, a metre or a metre and a half length antenna. But that would then be a bit of coax from the connector to the actual antenna. So so yeah. Any other questions?
Have you had it out in the daylight at all, Justin?
Well, I've had it
Screen
outside.
time?
I have had it outside a few times. I haven't used it in anger outside. I was
What's
going to
the
do that on
screen
the
like in
weekend.
daylight?
Sorry,
What's the screen like in the daylight?
fine. It's actually fine. Unless there's direct sunlight on it, that can be a bit difficult. But no, it's okay.
Better than a parking meter then.
Oh yeah, no, much better than a parking meter. I'm glad you said that, Steve. So what I'll do, I'll just change over so that you've got the screen on the big screen. Now I'm using our new AV facilities.
One more question here.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what the circuit design looks like in terms of master oscillator? Is it, are there multiple oscillators or a single master?
Wouldn't have a clue. In fact, I haven't seen a service. I haven't seen a service manual. Sorry, I'll just turn this down. I haven't seen a service manual anywhere yet. But if there's a service manual around for the 7300 or the 9700, I think it's a pretty good template, because I think it's a very similar radio.
What was the question? Oh, sorry. Another question too. You said the frequency drift is about 30 hertz at 2 metres. Have you done a similar test with the 817s?
Well, I've got a GPS locked 817.
Yeah, so 0.
So yeah. But good question. I can still run it if I don't plug the 10 meg reference into it. It's back to the oscillator on the GPS board. Now I know the oscillator on the GPS board is better than what was in the radio to start with, because they used a much higher spec oscillator on those boards.
Yeah, okay.
So it would be better than what the original would be anyway.
We can do some tests. A few of us have got 817s and 818s.
Well, is yours GPS
Original.
Mine is.
No. Look, okay.
Mine's unlocked. Mine's 817's unlocked.
Mine's locked.
Yeah. Okay. So we could certainly see, and it might be the same. But to be honest, might be the same.
Justin, the Bluetooth headset, was that included with the package, or just
No,
you've
extra.
gotta buy that extra?
You've got to buy that as extra.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now let's see. Okay. So scope. This is the waterfall. And all of those functions that you can see down the bottom here, there are 2 rows of functions. If you click on, you can see 2 comes up, and you've got reference, reference level, etc. You've got speed, so you can set the speed, and you just keep clicking it, and it goes through fast, medium, or slow. Marker frequency that you're actually on, so it actually marks on the screen where that frequency actually is. The expand or the set, you can have a little expanded expanded frequency scale. Go back here, span. Okay, now the span is, you can see there's a minus 250k up here and a plus 250k up here. This is how much of the band you're actually showing. 500k, 2.5k, 50k, 5k, 10k, 25k, etc. So you can set how much of the band you actually want to see. There's a hold function, so if you want to stop everything in its tracks. Okay, expand. Just bear with me, and I'll speed it up a bit so that it's there. Center fix. Okay. What this gives you is, this is looking at all of 40 metres, So over here it's 7 megs, and over here it's 7.3 megs. So it just gives you a really quick view of the whole band, which is really nice when you're contesting, because you can see where the signals are, where you've got to go.
Does that mean it does 4 megs at 144?
As in the bandpass being 4 megs?
No, the waterfall can be 4 megs wide at 144.
Hang on. Let's go to 144. It goes. Oh, now hang on. That's. No, 144 to 144 500 is what it's showing, Rex.
Yeah.
So.
Plus or minus 250.
And as it goes up in frequency, that'll get less and less.
That's what I-
Well, it might stay at half a meg.
Yeah. Well, hang on.
Should go up one more.
We've got one to play with. So there is 432. Well, scope out of range. Okay, hang on.
Welcome to software defined.
Even though it's saying scope out of range, it's saying 432 to 433. So that's a meg.
Okay.
But it's saying the scope's out of range. So okay.
500.
So if we go back a bit.
Press the center fix button again until it's really near.
No, it's saying the scope's out of range on that. I don't think you can get it. So you have to go back to, that's plus or minus 25, and you can then you can go to, you can still go up to 500k, plus or minus 500k.
And was it plus or minus 500k at 144, was it?
Yeah. That span is the same for all of the.
Yeah.
So okay, that's audio. You've got this is the audio scope function. So you've got the. Hang on. Now.
There's a comment, it's 1 megahertz max all bands.
Okay. There you go. I mentioned if you pushed your finger on particular functions longer than a second, you get a different function. If I just touch this, it'll give me the band. If I touch it for long enough, it'll give me the band stacking register. So this is a register of what you've been using or what you've actually put into the band stack so that you can get to frequencies quickly. So you can just see, if I want to change, I need to be a bit quicker with okay, that's better. There's actually a signal there. So you can see on the left side, you've got your audio frequency. So this is the part of the band. What you're seeing here is the band pass at about 500 hertz through to 2.5 kilohertz, and then you're actually seeing the noise. That's noise on the scope here on the side of it, and you can set attenuation, you can do a hold on it, you can set the level. Well, here we go, that's a bit better. So the scale on that oscillogram, time, so it's moving it across that way, or so that's the time base of what it's setting, and expand, you can make it obviously larger or back to what it was. Just interrupt with questions if you want some clarification. The meter I mentioned. Now, ooh, that's really hard to see. You can see what you've got is your S meter and a power meter on the top. You've got ALC level, you've got compression, so when you transmit you'll see that come up. You've got SWR, you've got the current being drawn by the radio on the bottom scale, you've got your voltage input on this scale, and then you've got the temperature of the radio down here, which is what I was watching last night, Rex. So that's the meter side of it. Now SWR. This is the SWR graph function what it gives you the ability to do is a scan of the radio, and you can set the step. So step 100k, 500k, 10k. Let's go to 500k. So what and let's go up a little bit here.
You can't dim the lights at the front, can you just?
Oh, you can actually. Can we just turn off that? I think it's the top switch. Oh, that's better. Oh, that's much better. So the step, set the step, and you'll see the frequency down here that we're covering. So 7048 to 7.548. So we're way outside our area. Let's go to. Okay. There's 50k. We want. How many segments do we want across here, which is the bars? So you can set this to 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. We'll leave it at 13. Let's leave it at slightly less than that so we don't go outside the band.
Should be prime numbers.
And what you can do now is start it recording, and all we do is we transmit and it's just gone outside the band, so it's not going to transmit outside the band. But you can see.
You have to go down in frequency.
Correct. Actually, let's go to less. That'll do. Oh no, it's not, because it's only going to go to. Hang on.
Nobody's listening through the static, just go down.
There we go. That's within the band, and we've got 5. So we start recording, and you can see it says anything below 1.5 to 1 SWR's okay. So that's that line at 1.5, and you can see above it, it's actually showing us that this particular antenna is questionable up this end of 40 metres. But it actually gives you the ability to go through an antenna and actually show what your SWR on the antenna is without having to get your antenna analyzer out. You use the rig. So that's not a bad little function. The other things, okay. Here, so that was the menu button. This is the function button. You can see there's a range of hopefully familiar options here that you find on most radios. The ones I wanted to just focus on is the notch filter. Now you can switch the notch. You can see it's a mid-notch. It's switching it off. It's another notch function, etc. Now if I keep my finger on that, what it does is bring up, this is the multifunction, it then brings you across the multifunction pot or optical encoder, I suspect it is. This gives you the ability to change the position of that notch in the bandpass. So you can narrow the notch right down and then move it through the bandpass. So, and you can hear that we're going up and down that bandpass. Now, if you've got a particularly hard signal to get out of the noise, the ability to narrow that right down and then be able to move it is worth its weight in gold. The noise blanker, same story. It's on or off, but if we hold it down, we've then got the ability to do the noise blanking level. We just click on that. And you've got 0 to 100%. You've got the depth of that noise blanker, so nothing through to a depth, quite a deep depth, and then width of the noise blanker, so how much of the bandpass it's actually looking at to give you that function. Noise reduction, same story, on or off. Hold it down. and it's just a level. So you can play with this to try and get that particular signal that you're trying to get out of the noise. Couple that with your bandpass now. This, I then need to start moving it. So you can see this little fill 3, fill 1, fill 2 and fill 3, and you'll see that all this is doing is changing the width of this particular bandpass, this particular bandpass setting. And then if I go to the twin PBT pot, it then allows me to actually move that within the bandpass, and if you suddenly find that's not getting you the result, you can narrow it down and then start changing. And this is very similar to the DSP, the low setting and the high setting, high cut setting and the low cut setting on the DSPs that are in at least the Yaesu range of radios. So between that bandpass tuning and the notch, noise blanker and noise reduction settings, you can hopefully pull that particular signal you're looking for out of the noise. So the other things here are split operation, the box operation, compression, TBW, what's
Transmit bandwidth.
Transmit bandwidth, there you go. And it gives you narrow, mid and wide. Monitor your signal, so you can actually monitor the audio from that point of view when you're transmitting. The other things on here now, this changes dependent on the frequency and the modes that you're in, but there is a duplex function for obviously repeater type functionality, and there is maximum power, and it's telling you that you're on external power, so the maximum is 10 watts, etc. So you can change the maximum and set that accordingly.
Transverters.
Sorry?
Right for transverters.
Well and truly. To make sure that you don't blow them up. Well and truly. So, any questions or anything you'd like me to try and display? Demonstrate?
I'd just like to add that most of those settings that you can play with on the menu there, they've got a default touch bar at the back, so if you lost the plot in there and you don't like what the settings are, you can quickly set it back to default.
Back to default. Fantastic.
Where's the default bar?
Most of it, when you start playing around inside the menu, there's an optional default in there. I can't tell you how to get it straight away, but there's a default down the bottom, usually I think on the bottom of the right hand side there on some of the settings.
Do you have an SD card in that, Justin?
Yeah.
Do you want to demo voice recording and playback?
Do you want it?
Have you not done that?
There is an SD card in there, and it's got a few pictures on it, but that's about it. So I haven't gone into that.
If you go to menu,
Yep. Voice.
and then record, and then you
Record
can, yeah, I think that's it. And then just wait a little and go back and turn it up. Oh, sorry, go back. Menu, record, stop. Not that one, further down I think. Go back.
There's a few.
They're all, oh, there's a received one.
No, I think that's just recording what I was.
There is one way there where you can record what's on air.
Oh, that's what those files are.
Yeah, but it was recording you just then.
There you go.
Yeah.
And in fact, my QSO with Murray's probably on there. Last night. I would suggest.
You have to tell them the recording is for training and
Quality purposes.
quality assurance.
Oh, very good, Brian.
Anyway, you can.
You
There's
can
a
do
lot
it.
of QSOs in there that I didn't know was being recorded, so that's a bit scary. Anyway, any questions? And by all means, come up and have a play. That's we have one. So yeah, Larry.
You can manually adjust the frequency, the reference frequency on the 9700, for example. Does this have a menu option under the function or connectors or whatever it is?
For each band.
Settings.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well and truly. In fact,
Each band.
except
Function.
function.
Ref adjust. No, go back one.
More.
Go back.
Up the top.
Hook arrow. Hook arrow, bottom
arrow.
right. Function.
Yeah, that's where it was.
Ref adjust.
No, you're moving too fast.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where you adjust your internal reference.
Oh, okay. So if you put it
which
against
is
a
what your question
frequency
was, what you
standard,
want, yeah.
and then that adjusts it,
Yep.
and then it drifts.
Looks like it doesn't have the fine course like the 9700. So
It doesn't have the SMA
if you
jack.
hold your finger on that, you'll get an option.
I haven't done any adjustment on that.
No,
Just drift by.
return. Yeah, now. Don't know. It's not a 9700.
You're making it up as you go along.
What do you think it's doing?
Have they come up with an online help desk?
I think that's the manual.
No, that's Hayden.
Yes,
You can spam ICOM Australia. They'll help, even though they're very unhelpful.
Now, you do get the user manual in here in 3 languages, in French and Spanish as well. So, and you have the ability to download the advanced manual. The advanced manual is quite a bit bigger than the
Encyclopedia Britannica.
correct. Of which, can I just say most of that is how to configure DStar.
Same for the 9700.
Justin, have you set it up for cat control yet?
No.
I know that it does give you 2 COM ports when you plug it in
Okay.
as well. So you can use one for PTT for one purpose and another for cat control separately.
Cool. Okay.
Yep, same as that.
On the little battery pack.
Yep.
What sort of transmit time have you got available?
Not much. At 5 watts, not much. So that's one of the downsides of using, and in fact that's exactly the reason why I went to my standard soda battery. So you'd have, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes.
And listening time?
An
Couple
awful
of hours,
lot
I
more
think.
than that. Yeah, hours and hours.
Right, so having put the external battery on, what figures we get out of that?
Well, the 10 watts.
It draws 330 milliamps on receive.
Correct.
Maximum.
On receive, so that's days and days and days. On transmit on 10 watts though, you're probably getting a couple of, 3 or 4 hours out of that battery.
Right. Okay.
Intermittent transmit use on
So
10
if
watts.
you were
Out of the battery you've got there, Justin.
So
Out of the battery you've got there,
7.2 amps.
you get heaps out of that.
so if you
10 amps.
So if you went
10
down
watts.
to
10 watts, sorry, 10
I've done
watts.
3 soda activations on my 100 watt commercial HF, which drew 2 amps on receive on a 7.2 amp battery. Like
2 amps on receive.
Yeah, the crystal oven in it.
Okay.
That's more stable.
GPS lock feature happens.
Yeah, okay.
So would you remove your battery on Expedition, Remove the internal battery on expedition?
Probably to remove a bit of weight, but that'd be about it.
It's not very heavy, the battery
It's,
in
it's
the back.
not. It's not very heavy at all. You probably wouldn't, because it would give you a backup if you
Gives you a little bit
suddenly
of a
realised
reserve
that
to make that fourth
you
contact.
hadn't charged your battery.
Or you had a loose connection to the battery.
Well and truly, your cable was dodgy or whatever, or you blew the fuse and you didn't have a replacement fuse.
Now, you said that that it will charge your internal battery off your
Yep.
LiPo there, but that's going to reduce if your battery isn't topped up inside your...
Yep. Correct.
As a comparison,
You can turn it
apparently
off.
the 817 draws about 350 milliamps on receive as well, and the 705 can also be charged off of USB as well.
Correct.
So you don't you don't have to charge it off a 12 volt source. You can plug it into your computer and charge it.
There you go.
Yep, or the back of your aeroplane set.
Yeah, I know. That's a little light parts.
Yeah.
We could do that anymore.
In your car.
Oh, less than that.
Any other questions? What do you say?
What size SD card is recommended?
Anything up to 64. I've got a 16 in there right at the moment. So I think it was up to 64 was what they specified in the
The
manual.
9700 won't work above 32.
Ooh, well, that might have been an update.
I've got another comment, Justin. A guy on Facebook says, with the standard battery SSB on 40 metres at 5 watts with lots of calling and QSOs on the weekend, after almost 3 hours I had just under 50% battery remaining according to the meter.
There you go.
So,
Okay.
That's on the internal battery.
yep,
Wow. Is that VK3PT?
Perrin Trees.
Yep. He's been posting a lot to
Give him a
the
shout.
IC-705.
Give him a shout out because you probably didn't hear me.
Yeah, so shout out to Perrin, thank you. I have been following you on the IC-705 Facebook group and the Groups IO group, so putting some great content up, really good.
They show the backpack pedestrian mobile, but is there a small major function remote that you can actually change frequency band or whatever while you're mobile?
Well, if you've got an Android device, yes, you can right at the moment because you can get your phone out and do it. If you've got an iOS device, no, you can't at this point in time.
Oh, far.
But there's been a lot of comments about when's it coming out for the iOS.
It won't be long.
Never.
So yeah, that's how you do it, right?
Our output connectors BNC only, is it?
Yeah, it's only BSC, well and truly. And I tell you what, that frequency check that I did with Rex last night, where I had it running for a while and it was getting hot, the connector really gets warm.
That's not a good sign.
And I just sort of went, ooh, because I went to unplug it and I went, ooh, that's really hot. So
is it that where the heat in the radio coming from the connector itself?
well, I think
kind of dissipated.
I think because if you take the back off the radio, take the battery out, not the back. If you take the battery out, you can see the body of the radio is die cast. So this is all of their heat sinking. So it's that connector will be connected to that from a strain relief point of view. So the heat just goes into the connector. So anyway.
But you had it running for a long time.
Oh, it would have been 3/4 an hour to an hour.
Solid
Well,
transmit.
That's solid.
But you were running before I even
Yeah.
spoke to you.
I was running it in the Reast meeting and wondering what the beeping was.
Right. And
So did we for a little while.
Yeah, they thought I was
Kept
crazy.
disappearing.
But anyway.
I hear beeping.
What's the battery voltage?
Ooh, good
It's 8 volts, I think.
So 8 volts. So 8 times 3, it's
8.1 or something.
7.4.
7.4.
7.4, and the one that comes with the radio is an 1880 milliamp hour, so 14 watt hour battery.
So even on standby, it's going to dissipate a couple of watts.
Yeah. So hence the 7.2 amp LiFo that I use for my 817. Love those batteries.
So that 330 milliamps on receive is,
the 12 volts going in, not at its internal battery.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's the
Yeah,
external.
okay.
That's external. So,
Yeah,
so it's more.
Yeah.
Right, it's 3 watts.
So it'll be more, it'll be 3 watts.
3.5.
It'll be
I think
Yeah,
too.
7.4, whatever that is.
I think
it'll be
too.
12
I noticed.
divided by 4 watts.
I noticed straight out of the box with mine with the battery plugged in, not connecting to power. I don't know if you can test it, but when it was just on the battery, I think the screen dimmed. I think.
That's right.
I'm not sure.
I've just unplugged the external supply.
Did it dim?
No,
Oh, well
but the
then.
battery's full. It is so.
Yeah, and my battery was under 50% because I plugged it straight in. So maybe when it gets to a certain power level, it dims the display.
Okay.
You got screensaver, does it cut off after a while? Like that?
I'm sure
Yes.
that functions there somewhere.
The 7300 and the
Hidden down
9700.
15
so
layers
it would be-
behind the door that says "Beware of the tiger."
Does it have a stand and a carry handle?
It has a stand in that if you turn it over, there is a 1/4 inch, a standard tripod 1/4 inch connector on it. So you can connect it to a tripod, and I've noticed a lot of the YouTubers have got it on a little tripod stand next to them. And I had it on the tripod earlier, so that's just a standard 1/4 inch Whitworth thread.
You can put it on the end of your selfie stick as you go up on the as you go up the mountains on your soda activation.
Yeah, right. So anyway,
How good is the audio through its?
through its little speaker, the speaker's there. That's the speaker. If you don't have the speaker microphone plugged in, so it's a bit more tinnier through the speaker mic, which is what you sort of expect.
You can plug in any speaker to it, but also any Bluetooth speaker. So
Correct.
you could hook it up to your Bluetooth soundbar at home or something.
Can you put it on 936?
Yes, you can.
Oh, it's got general coverage receiver as well. Yeah.
FM radio. No, that's not right.
Right.
Let's go to there. Oh, and the other thing is, it's got.
Just touch the 879.
Just touch the.
No.
You can go to Gen.
Yeah, no. But it's got. I'm used to a jog wheel on the Yozos, and one of the things it does is, as you go further and further, it gets faster and faster. So that's really that's actually really quite nice. Now the other thing is you can 936. Oh, now this is
0.93.
0 936 00.
You're not in general.
See,
Go into general. I'll do it there.
No, but if I put in there.
Now put a decimal to the left.
Yeah.
93600. And I keep doing that
Yeah.
because I think that's the enter button. It's the back button.
Don't forget the back button.
Now, enter. Oh, and we go into.
AM would be good.
Yeah.
Filter 2.
Filter 1.
No, hang on. Yeah. But I'm not in. I need to widen the bandwidth.
Put the attenuator on too.
Oh, hold AM, I think. So let it do you there? No.
No, because it's.
On the defrost for 2 minutes.
Well, there you go. I need to change the bandwidth, however I do that. I've only had the radio since yesterday.
Click on your filter width and just hold it down and adjust.
Sorry?
Click on the filter
And the filter.
and then
Just hold it.
can adjust them.
That's, oh well,
Yeah,
You can get rid of that.
that'll be better.
Can you turn the filter off?
Press your,
Yeah,
what's
turn the
name,
filter
right?
off. You've got filter 1 enabled, turn it off altogether.
No, it's got to have filter 1, 2
Yeah, filter
or
one,
3.
the basic filter. Now you got to get back to the guy.
Well, you can't turn it off altogether?
No.
no. Anyway,
It'll work.
I'll work out how to do it. What sort of mic?
Press and hold filter 1, apparently.
Yeah, no, that's what we did.
But I think
Yeah.
again. So now press and hold filter 1 down the bottom right. No. Bottom right. Filter 1 9K. Or press it once.
Yeah.
No, you can't do it there.
Because we went to, sorry, bandwidth.
And then you hit bandwidth and change your turning knob to actually increase the...
Hit default.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey!
Okay,
That's the man
that's what you want.
I love it.
Don't know.
Still doesn't make it sound any better.
It's just 936, that's the problem.
Big and glorious AM.
Anyway, try one of the FMs.
Yeah, go FM.
Yeah. Well, if you can't get 936, I'm not getting one.
It's a very expensive radio to listen to 936.
Streaming on the net is...
Radio on $3 shop from
Edge radio.
Through. Keep going.
0, 0, 0. Not too many.
That's
I did,
enough.
Enter. Oh!
I don't know, went to Wide FM, so that's...
Who's in front?
Now I'm definitely.
The Crows won last night, our first game, we won this season.
Yeah, and then you're only again.
Anyway.
Okay. What sort of mic connector has it got, Justin?
The mic connector on the side is a standard, I'm not sure which one's the microphone, but it's either the 2.5 or the 3.5.
Oh, right. Okay.
So,
It's got that ring sleeve thing.
TRS. Tip ring sleeve.
Yeah, but
Correct.
it's got 4, I think.
it's got 4.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
got
Ring sleeve.
It's got 4, and then the 3.5 has got 3.
It needs the extras for the buttons.
Oh yeah, and there is AB buttons and up and down on the which you can set on the speaker microphone. So yeah. Anyway, come up and have a look. So
When you're on a ham band, can you hit the last digit? Does it show the last digit? On
yeah.
ham bands, yeah.
No, the next digit.
that one.
Thirds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it
third.
does.
Yeah.
Well and truly.
Optional.
So if you put your finger on the double O
Yeah.
for a while, you should get that up.
In fact, I don't know whether it's going to do it in
Oh,
wideband FM.
probably won't do it.
Now hold it.
Yeah, there we go. No, it does.
And
So that's hertz.
and tuning step if you put
I use that
your
when I
finger on
talk to
the
Rex.
300.
You have to.
You have to use it when you talk to Rex.
Because Rex says you're off frequency.
But you can't get 10 hertz.
There is also
Talk to you.
there is also the RIT function. Actually, that's a good point. You've obviously got a memory mode. You've got a VFO mode. VFO. There's 2 VFOs in there that you can set, so you can do the split function. I put the memory in there for the repeaters around here. So yeah, that's standard functionality in pretty much everything. So
When you are using it in memory mode, and let's say you've only got half a dozen memories programmed,
Yep.
you still have to wade through all the unprogrammed ones, or they do not appear.
no, they don't appear.
That's
It's only
a step forward.
It's only the ones that you've programmed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure.
It's a damn nuisance if it's got 100 channels and you only want 2. Sometimes you have to go the long way.
I thought when I clicked on that.
Unless you
There you
put
go,
936 either side of your channel.
Click on that again and then go to memo.
Ah, sorry. Exactly. Sorry. Thank you, Richard. So,
channel 54.
to answer Brian's question, I've had 3 in here, which is the 6 metre repeater, Rex's reference frequency we were using, R2 and RCH. So and they are the only ones that come up, Brian.
Okay.
So,
That's
Point
great.
3 is not my reference frequency. It's point 2.
sorry.
Point 3 is not my reference frequency. Point 2 is.
Oh no, that was just what I was using last night.
Yeah.
Appreciate you've only had it 24 hours. Will it do things like, when you program memories, power on a per channel basis, which is in my case, is a wonderful function. Like if you've got a repeater that's right next door, you only need a watt.
Can I take that on notice?
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to say it's a commercial radio function.
And no, the ICOM 208 does it.
Oh, right.
It is fabulous.
Yeah, so does my Yasin mobile. It does it as well.
Yeah, okay. Not many do.
Well, I reckon it probably
really
does.
nice.
We've just got to work out how to
Correct.
convince it to do it.
I think you just need to make sure when you save the memory that you have the power
Power
set
setting.
correctly, and then it'll remember it as you change through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does the Bluetooth connection cover microphone as well, if you have a headset with built-in microphone?
Well, I'm sure.
And you can see the little Bluetooth symbol. Can't really see it on the screen up there, but the Bluetooth symbol, because it's Bluetooth to my phone. Where did the headset go? Ah, okay. If you turn that on, just keep the button. Just keep the button down. Actually, it's on.
Yep.
So, and I've lost. So it is that. It is.
Flashing.
Yeah. No. And
There it
just
is.
push. Just push the.
Came up on the screen.
Just push the push to talk. Yeah. There you go. So
What antenna are you transmitting into?
the
40 metre dipole.
dipole, but anyway, okay.
It'll work.
Just go to. Yeah, we'll just see how good that is. Just hit the push to talk again.
10 to 1.
Oh, that's all right. That does really well.
use that.
So there you go.
No, it's less than 1.5. 2 to 1.
That's not bad.
It's virtually.
So yeah. Anyway. All right. Come up and have a play. It's to have a play with and have a bit of a look. So
There's lots of shortcuts on the screen. You can touch as well and change things around. You don't have to get into the menu for all of it. You can
Long holding on the meters changes the meters.
Correct.
So
Change what
many
you want
ways
on
to do it.
be seen on transmit or on receive. Like it's that to the bar.
partial reset. Love that function. So you just don't have to go back to the start, the very start. They're available. I use mine when I walk to and from box Bluetooth out there doing machining, doing the and I can stick any headset into it.
Well, what I wanted to know is,
Isn't that Same thing, plug it into the headphone and microphone socket.
linear
octaves. Yes, there are.
That way I don't click on the mic. Well, if you see one, send me an email.
Alright,
some of them switch linear algebra.